everyone, this is Henry and I'm here to do another quick Battlegames video review, and this is a very hot August the 1st that I'm doing this recording on, up in the Luftwaffe. Very warm indeed. So if I look a bit hot, that's why. It's I think it's over 30 degrees. Anyway, let's have a look at what we've got today. I've been sent a couple of mats by Cigar Box Battle over in the States. A lovely chap called Corey, and he runs Cigar Box Battles, who make an enormous range of gaming mats. And I'll give the website address at the end, but go and have a look. Some of them are quite extraordinary, an ever-growing range. And he's very kindly sent me a couple. I think there's another one lost in the post somewhere between here and the USA, but I will review that as soon as it arrives. But I've got two today, and the first one I'm going to show you is this one. Let's take a pause so I can turn the camera around. Right, excuse the mess up here in the Luftwaffe, but this is the mat I'm going to show you. And I thought it'd be useful to actually put a tape measure there, because it's big. It's a desert mat, clearly, with sort of bits of scrub and undulations and stuff on it. And it's a mighty thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if I go down to this tape measure, you can see it is, what's that? 76, 77 inches in length, which is 1 meter 95. And in terms of width, whoa, let's follow that across, because this tape measure tells me that is 1 meter 50, which is 59 inches, just a shade under 6 feet wide. So effectively what you've got is a mat that in terms of inches, 77 inches, what's that, crikey, that is 6 feet nearly 6 feet 6 inches, okay, by getting on for 5 feet. Wow, big compared to your normal 6x4. Is it a difference between European sizing and American sizing, imperial and metric? Excuse me, who knows? But the effect is, it's big and it's lovely. Now, a lot of you may think, why make a mat this size? Actually, I think this is really interesting, because if you're doing what a lot of gamers are doing these days, which is going back to almost the old idea of putting terrain under the mat. So you put your hills and under the mat and then cover it with the mat. Obviously, that kind of pushes it up, raises it up. And if you're on a 6x4 table and your mat only measures 6x4, the danger is you're going to find it hard to actually cover the edges of the table. Whereas with a mat this size, you can drape it over stuff that's underneath and it will fill your 6x4. Let me come down. Oh, the old knees. Let's take a look at, in more detail, some of this. I think the printing's lovely. I think that's really effective. Obviously, someone who's a bit of a whiz in Photoshop, I've done this sort of thing before, but certainly not printing out this size. So just a few bushes and undulations and rough terrain and stuff, but it all goes together really nicely, I think. A few rocks and boulders, and obviously you put your own strewn scatter terrain over the top of this. Let's take a look at the cloth itself. It's this nice white sort of, ooh, nice stuff, which has picked up some of my cat hairs already. Putting it on the floor is just a really stupid idea, but unfortunately on my table, even though it's 8 foot by 6 foot, is covered with other stuff at the moment. So the floor it had to be. But I think that's a really lovely mat. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause slightly because I've got another one to show you as well. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see here, I've laid out the next mat, which is made of the same sort of lovely fleece material. This, I think, goes under the name of Highlands. And, oh yes, look at this. Lush with vegetation and undulations. Yeah, totally the opposite end of the spectrum, from parched desert to lush hillsides. Again, it's that big size. Look at you. It's going to be that same sort of 78 inches by 59, 60 inches. Obviously, once these things have been used a few times, they'll stretch and what have you. These are literally straight out of the packet. But isn't that gorgeous? Let me take you down and take a look at, oh yes, sort of tangled. Oh, look, you're going to trip in these long grasses here, aren't you? Very kind of, well, I suppose you can see it in different ways. You can see it as kind of Scottish Highland type of thing, although that would need realistically a lot more heather, a lot more purple heather, but certainly sort of mountain Highlandy undulating kind of vibe going on here, with a few nice bare patches. I can see this being used potentially to represent almost kind of jungle terrain, but certainly very lush. Great for fantasy gaming, probably. Though of course you can use it for anything. World War II, whatever you feel like. But I kind of feel like this is definitely a remote, unspoilt area. You could easily put plenty of trees over the top of that, and it would look great. So there we go. 2 lovely mats from Cigar Box Battles. Both of them on this lovely kind of soft, fleecy material that will drape beautifully over the top of anything you put underneath. Tell you what, just for a giggle, shall I show you what I mean by this? I've got some random, let me get a random polystyrene hill or two. Here we are. Here's some I made earlier, just polystyrene. So what I'm going to do is just lift this up, shove them underneath. There's one, there's 2. Now let me get this cloth and pull it over. I'm making a mess here, aren't I? The polystyrene doesn't stay still. I'll melt on that one. Right, let's stretch it out a bit. Sorry about this, folks. Very improvised. I hope you're not feeling too seasick. But I think I've managed to achieve what I wanted to achieve. Look, polystyrene hills underneath. And that gives you very natural slopes. Let's stretch that out a bit. Pull the whole lot over here. Can you see what I mean? Just simply bunging a couple of bits of polystyrene underneath has created a very realistic 3D terrain, and the mat's big enough that that would still fit on a 6x4. There we are, QED. So I hope you found that useful, reviewing these 2 mats, a desert mat and a Highland terrain mat from Cigar Box Battle. And I'll put the link to their website at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you again soon with something else. Cheers.